Welcome to the Car Guys, and this week a special episode all about Lotus. You know that I've secured the slot for my Elise 240 final edition, but there's just one bit of unfinished business that we've got to sort out today with Jason and with your help. That's right, we've got to spec this mother.
Or we've got to convince Damian the reasons why he's being completely foolish ordering a 30-year-old car.
And now that Jason's comments have just caused the entire Lotus community to leave instantly, let's get on with it. So this is it. We're speccing a Lotus 240 final edition. How do you feel about that, Jason?
I just honestly, I don't even know why we're here. Why are we here? I mean, why is this literally because they said we've decided not to make any more Elise and therefore you said, okay, I want one? Is that what this is all about?
It is literally that. It is literally unequivocally, as soon as someone says that you cannot have something anymore, I instantly wanted it. It happened with Ferrari, it's happened with many things in my life, and no surprise at all, it happened when Lotus announced they were going to make no more petrol-only sports cars, and they were going to stop the Elise and the Exige and the Evora. Don't care so much about that one, but the Elise and the Exige, and they're going to stop making petrol versions of those cars forever in 2021 to be replaced with hybrids and then full electric.
When the Elise came out, it was technologically advanced. It was a chassis that had been glued together. It used modern materials. It was really cool, but that was fine in 1820. But now in 2020, this car is nearly 30 years old. It's using the same tech. I mean, do you know that if you get a stone chip on the front, if you crack that fiberglass at the front, you have to replace the entire clamshell?
Well, just don't then.
Did you know that?
Don't do it. It's that simple. It's not hard, is it?
Why don't you just buy a second-hand one?
Well, that is what a lot of you viewers have said, actually. I should just buy one of the old engined cars, one of the old special editions. What's getting me going is the fact that I can say in years to come, when I'm 80 and sitting on my sort of like creaking rocking chair with my shotgun rested over my lap, I can think back. I can tell all me sort of, I don't know, kids and grandkids, I can say, I bought a Lotus. I bought a brand new Lotus before they stopped making them. And I'm proud to do it. So I think that's what it is. I think it's very much down to history, heritage, the fact I lusted after them all through the 70s and 80s. And this is the last chance ever to say that you bought a brand new Lotus petrol from the factory. It's a defining moment. It's a Concorde moment. You know, in the same way, exactly the same way, one of my biggest regrets in life is not being able to fly on Concorde. And I've always regretted it. If you could ask me to do one thing in my life, that would be it, to fly Concorde. I'm not completely against a full electric sort of Elise, really, although it won't be an Elise, it'll be a bigger car and it'll be heavier. But if you could make an Elise that was full EV and had all the benefits of an Elise and it was silent, I don't think I would have a huge problem with that. The problem is that that's not what they're going to make. They're going to be making, and it'll be something bigger and heavier and pointier, and it'll be more expensive. And I worry about whether it will still have that, you know, ethos of a Lotus. Plus, also, it's not ruinously expensive to get one of these things. They hold their value very well. Mainly it is to do with the experience of driving it. I think it would be great to take on track and have some fun there. And it's not so scarily expensive that you're not going to take it out at every single opportunity, and you're not going to be afraid to put the miles on. So it's one of those nice little jump in and drive type cars. And I think the chance to have that final edition, which I'm told they may well be spending just a little bit more effort building to give it a proper send-off.
A proper finish.
No disrespect to every Lotus built before this point, but they might actually spend perhaps a little bit more time making sure that they are proper.
That's why that's why we use the acronym, lots of trouble, usually serious, right?
They use that acronym because A, Clarkson, I think, said it on TV, and B, it's so easy to go there.
Yeah. Awkward.
The order book is now closed, okay, so that's it. No one else can buy a final edition. It was only open, actually, for what seemed like...
An hour?
Maybe 2 months. No, it was pretty short. But, I mean, you know, at the point where I said, yeah, I definitely want one, I think the next day the entire thing was sold out, the whole order book.
Wow.
We've done specking episodes before, so we're a bit veteran at this. What we've done this time, which we haven't done before, is that I threw it out to the viewers of the Car Guys to actually send us videos explaining what spec we should do. What I propose we do is that each of the historic liveries that we're going to look at will start with a Car Guys viewer introducing themselves and telling us what they think they should do, and then we'll discuss the option that they've gone for.
Okay, that sounds like an excellent plan.
Hi Damian, hope you're well. My suggestion for your final edition Elise is a 1967 Lotus race spec with the British racing green, yellow stripes, wooden steering wheel, wooden gear knob.
Thank you very much for that, James. So James has gone for the absolute classic green car with yellow bits from Formula One. What do you think of that one?
This is the classic archetypal Lotus livery, the yellow stripe down the middle, the classic British racing green on the outside. I love this.
Yeah, this was designed by Colin Chapman. It was for the 1962 Formula One World Championship. So this is kind of like Genesis, really. It's the first monocoque chassis in Formula One. Very innovative, very striking from a historic point of view. The one thing that I really like about this, apart from the fact, as you say, it is the epitome of heritage, and it screams Lotus because, of course, it is the Lotus colours, and you look at the logo, it's green and yellow. What I love about it is that Jim Clark took 14 race wins in this car, and he actually won the Formula One World Championship in 1963 in this car. So, I mean, literally, in terms of lineage and Lotus history, special place in our hearts, this is, of course, got to be right up there.
You cannot get more Lotus than green and yellow and Jim Clark, can you? I mean...
Yeah, exactly. So for us not to consider this, we'd have to be complete idiots. So I think, yes, this has got to be, I think, at the moment, this is well, in the top 5.
Hi, gents. For me, it would be the launch edition spec from '96, which would be the red with the white and the gold wheels. It would only be fair to end where it started. Okay,
thanks for that, Alex. You have gone for another iconic Formula One livery. It is the Type 49. What are your thoughts on this one then, Mr. Jason?
Again, another iconic Lotus livery. However, my only problem with this is that they have already done a Type 49 Elise previously.
Now, that is very true, and here's some pictures of it right now.
That's my only issue. But, you know, classic... This is when I started watching Grand Prix racing many moons ago. I love it. I love the gold nose, love all of that kind of stuff. It's brilliant.
This was made for the 1967 season, and it actually did secure 12 Formula One wins. So it was a very successful car. It does look amazing. I agree. This actually, when I started thinking about getting a final edition, this was the livery I think that I had in my mind, and only in the research did I find out that there'd been an exact Elise special edition in the past. But I think because of that, probably it's not going to be one we're going to go for in this case.
No, it just detracts a little bit, because if you want it in Type 49 colours, you really ought to buy the original Type 49 Elise. Because
Lotus has done so many versions of the Elise in the past, I'm pretty sure everything, with the exception of one, has been done before. So we will have to take it with a slight pinch of salt, because there are an awful lot of yellow and green cars out there as well.
Hi Damian. With the Lotus, I think you should go for the iconic JPS look with the black and gold, and even use the gold JPS decals. That would look amazing.
Thank you very much for that, Paul, from your beanbag, what it looks like there. You've, of course, gone for an absolute icon. You know we both love this. This is the Type 72 John Player Special livery. And lots of innovations on it. It's the first one to have inboard brakes, first one to have side-mounted radiators, and the first one to have an overhead air intake. So, I mean, it's, again, you can't get more iconic.
God, it's so good. It's so good. Black and gold. Again, though, the only problem with it is that there is already a JPS, and we drove it. There's a CarGuys episode of us driving a JPS Elise.
Yeah, there's a lot of these around. I mean, I would have to say this would have been number one on my list, I think, in terms of something that resonates with me, because although the car was designed for the 1970 Formula One season, it wasn't JPS then. JPS was from 1972, which is, of course, my birth year. So, you know, it's got an extra resonance for me, but I do think that the sheer number of black and gold Elises and special editions out there, I think maybe makes me steer a little bit away from this now.
So. Yeah, I think so.
I'm recommending the 1981 Lotus Formula One Essex livery, as seen on my collection of models, including this limited edition Turbo Esprit.
All right, thank you, Mark. That is an awesome selection. Now, I do not believe that there has been an Elise or a special edition of this car. There has been an Esprit, but I don't think it's been an Elise one. This is, of course, the Type 81, so the classic. What do you think? It's blue, it's red, it's silver, and it's got the word Essex written on the back of it.
That is the choice, then. It has to be that. The only thing I would say is, I know you're planning on keeping this forever, but nothing's forever. What's the resale on an Essex livery? Because you'd have to have Essex on the spoiler, of course.
I'm thinking quite low. I mean, it's amazing, and I think if I literally didn't care at all, I think this might be the one I'd go for, because it is so bonkers and so 80s, and it's not really been done that much before. There is one other big reason why I wouldn't go probably for this livery. Do you want to know what that is?
Go on then.
As a Formula One car and a position in Lotus's history, it wasn't very good.
Are you saying
it wasn't successful? At the time, it was not successful at all. There were many retirements and did not finish. So as a sort of icon in Lotus's own history, I'm pretty sure they'd like to brush it under the carpet and forget it ever happened.
Okay. It
was built for the 1980 Formula One season, so we're properly in the 80s. I think we can all tell that.
Really? What gives it away?
It was not very competitive. It had ground effect, because obviously that was all the rage then. But even though it was the debut car for Nigel Mansell, who went on to become obviously the Formula One Championship winning Nigel Mansell, it didn't get any wins at all, and lots of retirements. So I think for that reason,
again,
more so than the garish reason and the resale reason, I think that's probably the reason why I would discount that one.
I think that's fair. I think that's honestly a fair summation.
You should go for all of this, mate. But I would not go for air conditioning. As for colour, apart from the JPS colours, it has to be mustard yellow, surely. Like the original press cars back in 1996, and that famous sideways press photo.
Well, thank you very much for that, Robert. Well, there you go, Jason. Robert has decided to go for the original mustard yellow press car look of that original Elise. Does that float your boat at all?
I understand where he's coming from, because it is, it is the launch colour, if you like. So I get that.
Yep.
But I think it's just a bit plain.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I had a sort of like a Barago 1/18 scale model of the first Elise, and it was in Norfolk mustard, as the colour is known. And I have to say, I've never liked it. I've never liked it as a colour, and I think it takes what is quite a nice shape and makes it look a bit drab. So I understand your historic place of significance there, Robert, and thank you for that, but it's a definite no from me.
I think it's time that we made our own decisions now. We've heard from our audience. We know what they like to see. I think Do you think it's time we should head into the configurator?
I think we should. So we're in the configurator now at Lotus. We've got the Sport 240 Final Edition up. I think from the choices and the options we've gone through, I've pretty much made up my mind that I'm not going to do Essex. I'm not going to do Norfolk Mustard. I'm not going to do Type 49 Red. And I think I'm not going to go John Player Special Black. So that leaves us with green and a green car, possibly, I think, with some yellow embellishments.
So you don't fancy Calypso Red then?
No. I have a very special place in my heart for Daytona Blue. That is a flippin' lovely colour. But my only downside with it is it does, on this shaped car, it does make it look a little bit McLaren-y. Also, if you look at the vent in the rear of the Elise, just by the B pillar, that's actually, it's a McLaren swoosh, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe it's subconscious. But we're going to scroll down to the heritage section, and we've got racing green, black, nightfall blue, Essex blue,
Essex,
and Calypso red.
It's very metallic, that Essex blue, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but you look at the real thing and it is a proper full-on metallic blue. It's like a tin foil blue in the real car. It's amazing. So I think I'm going to go to racing green on this one.
£1,200 option.
1,200 nicker?
Really?
It's an outrage, isn't it? I think when you select it, immediately it looks like a Lotus straight away. I think I really like that. Yeah. And if I take the roof off, I think, for the configurator, just so we can see it in its natural state. In the configurator, you can't really specify stripes and things like that. What I would prefer to do is actually keep the car green with no stripes at all on it. I think I'd quite like to add some yellow bits, particularly to the interior. And I think I'll leave the yellow off from factory. And then if I want to then add yellow, I'm going to do it as part of the PPF process, because then I've got full flexibility.
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I've got full flexibility then to do different types of stripes than what the factory would do. And also, I can change it quite easily if I wanted to. Inside here, you've got Black Pack. Now, Black Pack adds horrendous black sections to the outside of the car.
Like that.
Yeah, it's nasty.
We're not doing that.
And it's a nasty sort of coloured, blacky, plasticky looking thing. So I think no to the Black Pack. I think in terms of roof, it comes as standard with a sort of tramp's hat sort of fabric roof. Yeah, I agree. I'd have hardtop. In terms of exhausts, there's no point going for the £4,000 titanium exhaust on this one. And the reason is it doesn't sound necessarily that much better. And I am told that there are lots of exhaust options from third parties. So you're better off getting a standard car and then exploring if you want some more fruity exhausts. Wheels section, I think at the moment, I'm quite happy, I think, with the... I don't want to go black because I think it's too severe. So I think I'm quite happy to stick with the anthracite, so the 10 spokes, which are on there at the moment.
I don't think we need red brake calipers either, do we?
I think we should probably go yellow, actually, for brake calipers. They'll do it for you at the factory.
Will they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yellow would be good.
I think we'll go for yellow brake calipers. I think that's right. And I think also, though, brake discs, I do think you're going to need to spend a bit on the two-piece cross-drilled and ventilated brake discs, because one of the things I don't want to run out of is stopping power at any point.
The thing weighs less than 6 ounces.
It does.
I've made chocolate cakes that weigh more than this.
That's very true. That's absolutely true. But I think I'd quite like... The 718 Spider has taught me that you should definitely have great brakes because it gives you loads more confidence. And also I think they just look better as well in the wheel. Now we go inside the car itself. Oh, yeah. Now you can see it's quite austere, isn't it?
It is supposed to be a lightweight special. So what have we got then? Black leather with black anthracite scent. Crikey.
In terms of interior colour pack, I think let's go for the solid yellow, because that will immediately pick out the gear selector and the holes for the racing harnesses in the seats in yellow.
Yeah, I like that.
And I just think it looks brilliant. Straight away, it looks brilliant. Steering wheel, I think I'll think I'll keep the leather trimmed steering wheel on that rather than going for the Alcantara, which of course is a pet hate of yours.
Hand-mung.
In terms of carpets,
I mean, the whole point of the Elise is that it doesn't have carpets because it's a stripped-out racing car for the road. But, you know, it's also, having carpet makes it be quieter. The sill, I like that being in aluminium. I think that looks pretty cool.
Well, how about this, though? How about this for an interesting diversion for you? Now, when you actually get in, so it's quite difficult to get in. If you've got the roof up, it's quite a small entrance to get in and out of.
It's done that a few times.
It is possible, but it's difficult. With the roof off, it makes no difference. However, I do have it on quite good authority that if you have it in black leatherette, it will get scratched to hell. Alcantara will get a bit mungy.
Yeah.
But actually, I've been told that actually carbon fibre is actually one of the best options because it helps you slide in and out of the car quite easily.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sort of tempted.
Like
I'm tempted to maybe have that as carbon fibre just to help you get in and out. So instrument panel, you've got radio, no radio at all. But the downside is you get no speakers, no electrical wire at all. Or what I think you can do is have the stereo. So therefore, if you're worried about resale, you know, not having it completely stripped out, you can have the radio. But I think what you can do is get a Lotus blanking plate to go over the head unit. The problem is with the radio on this car is it's one of those horrendous front unit, cheap sort of looking sort of Tamiya, Iowa type
JVC.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you won't ever like looking at it, and it looks a little bit too jingle jangly with its sort of LEDs and coloured lights. So I would almost certainly want to keep the provision of having the radio, but I probably would keep a faceplate over it the whole time. Air conditioning, now obviously there is a weight issue with air conditioning, but I have to say it does massively make a difference when the car's fogging up. So if you do have aircon, I think it's probably, out of all the options, I'd probably say aircon is probably the best option to spend weight on. Yeah, because you're gonna mean.
I think it's a must.
It's not going to be, you know, you're not going to steam up all the time, and I think it probably is worth it. So I think probably yes for that.
Sound installation, sir?
I'm going to say definitely not. I think no to the sound insulation. Standard battery or lightweight lithium ion battery. I have to say, I think I'll probably just stick with the standard one. And
yeah, it depends how much weight saving there is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's huge.
I can't imagine there's a huge amount.
My worry is that, you know, lithium batteries all sound brilliant, except you've got to keep them on charge all the time, and if they go flat, they cost a fortune. Cruise control, absolutely not. No. What on earth are you thinking? Cruise control? Why would that even be an option?
I have no idea.
And I think
dampers.
Yeah, dampers
or Tour.
Again, advice would say that actually the Tour dampers is by far the ones that you should go for.
You think about when we drive any of your Ferraris, the first thing that goes on is the bumpy road.
Is the bumpy road, yeah. I've got some little extras for you here, which is going to make it maybe a little bit more interesting. If you'll hear me out. You know, I think that would be a fairly standard spec. Nothing wrong with it. We've got the provision maybe for putting yellow stripes or accents on it later on at the PPF stage. So we've got that. That's safe. Non-standard options. So yeah. So we've already talked about the yellow brake calipers. That would be a special option. I think also I'd quite like the word sport on the outside to be in yellow rather than red, just to sort of tie that in. So I think that's doable. I definitely don't want the horrendous front number plate plastic moulding which comes on the car. That is really awful. So I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of that and then perhaps have something that will put a number plate either as a sticker, or you can get ones that sit in the grille, so it's a little bit nicer.
I like the sticker on the bonnet idea.
That could work. I think
that would look quite cool.
I'm quite a big fan. I saw this on the Type 49 Elise Special Edition. I'm quite a big fan of having Colin Chapman's signature on the car.
Oh,
yeah. So I think
sir.
if we keep the wheels.
Isn't he dead?
He is dead. Yeah, he died in the 80s.
Yeah, could be difficult getting his signature.
No, I'm pretty sure they've got it saved as a JPEG somewhere. I thought, because you're going to have anthracite text on the outside of the car, because that's what it currently is, and then you've got anthracite wheels at the moment. So I think anthracite Chapman signature on the area around that B pillar. You know, that nice sort of big bit of a space there. I thought maybe put that on there, give it a little bit of a personal touch. We've got the option, maybe, if we wanted to, of turning all the anthracite to gold. I also thought inside, having driven the other car, the sort of test car, there was two things that stood out to me. Number one, the start button, engine start button, is made of a horrible plastic. So I think I would much prefer that to be a metal start button, and maybe even yellow if possible, but certainly metal. And also the stalks, which I think come out of, I think they're from a Vauxhall or something at the moment. So you've stalked there. They are horrendous black plastic shitums. I think there's, and I don't think it's going to be done at factory, but you can, I think, get aluminium stalks done. And I just think, you imagine having that instead of those ones. I just think that has got to be done. I don't think it's a factory thing that can be done, but I think we can probably get them sort of milled or whatever afterwards and fitted. And I think that will just be perfect. So there you go. That's where we're at. So we are looking at an Elise 240 final edition, which is in heritage green. It's a bit more subtle. It's got yellow items on it. It's not the full-on Type 25, but it's definitely got a tip to the hat of that one. And I think maybe some other little extra bits which will just make it, a little bit more personal.
Oh, I think it's amazing. It's going to look really, really good. I mean, I wouldn't buy it because it's 50-odd thousand pounds for a kit car, but I still think it's going to look good, and it's going to be a sweet drive. Let's be honest, it is going to be a sweet drive.
Part of me would love to have gone the full Essex. But I think it probably would have got more views on YouTube or Instagram. But I think as a fitting tribute to the end of the line Elises, I wanted to go something that was a bit more classical and classy and a bit more respectful, I think. Thanks for watching this episode then on the specking of my Lotus Elise 240 final edition. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, we really hope you enjoyed it. It's been fun, even if I didn't manage to convince you to not buy one. However, don't forget to subscribe, leave comments, ding that notification bell for when we have another episode uploaded. Find us on Instagram, our website, and Facebook.
And there will be another Car Guys episode along next week.